Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the next Innovatrics APAC webinar. I hope you are ready. So just make yourself comfortable and sit back and enjoy the show. I would like to say a big thank you to all of you to squeeze this session into your session. We really appreciate your time. We really appreciate to have you here. We have a very nice attendance today. We have more than 40 people in this session, and people are still joining. But let's start. Our topic today is smart buildings, but let's make this a bit more specific. So we at Innovatrics, as a biometric technology vendor, we develop, of course, not only our proprietary biometric algorithms, but we also develop complete solutions for different business verticals. Today, we are going to focus mainly on access control, CCTV, surveillance, and security verticals. We are going to put all these things that I mentioned into the context of smart buildings, and this is going to be our main topic, or the story, how we are going to demonstrate all these solutions. Let me introduce our Innovatrics team first, who is on this call. So my name is Mate. I'm the presenter. I'm going to host this session today. I'm based in Singapore, and I'm in charge of pre-sales for the APAC region. We also have 3 of my colleagues here, all of them from Innovatrics. As panelists, we have Mr. Peter Martisch, our Global Business Director here. Hello, Peter, welcome. Thank you very much for attending. Peter is joining from Innovatrics HQ from Europe. So thank you, Peter, for
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Thanks a lot.
We also have Stanley Tay, our Innovatrics sales representative for APAC region. Stanley is also joining from Singapore. Hi, Stanley, good afternoon. And we have Tingyu Chang here, who is also an Innovatrics sales representative for APAC region. Tingyu is based in Taiwan and is joining us from Taiwan.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
So, just like last time, we are setting the objective of this webinar as following. We are not going to use too many slides. We are not going to use recorded videos or any of our standard product demos that you can normally see from anybody if you set up an Innovatrics meeting with some of our colleagues. But what we were busy with before this session was taking different Innovatrics solutions, different products, and putting them together, putting all these puzzles together into a whole picture. So we were trying to create complete solutions just like you would do the same. So we were creating these solutions exactly in the same way as you would take those Innovatrics pieces, solutions, products, and incorporate them into your access control product, or into your security solution, or into your complete CCTV ecosystem. We are going to show you real-life, end-to-end integrated solutions today. Of course, all the demos are going to be 100% live. There are no recorded videos. Everything is going to happen right here, right now. So let me give you just a very simple overview of what we are going to see today. This is a diagram of the whole solution that we have here today. We are going to use this Innovatrics central server-based solution as the central part of this whole ecosystem. Of course, for those of you who are familiar with Innovatrics products, the core of this whole system is going to be Innovatrics Smart Face. Innovatrics Smart Face is our face recognition solution for real-time face recognition using CCTV cameras. Smart Face is running on a server here in my home office, and this Smart Face system has different plugins. It can be extended with many different things. Those extensions, those plugins that we have here today are the access control module. So we have a simple simulated access control system here. Of course, in my home office, I don't have real turnstiles, so we are going to simulate this turnstile using exactly the same Smart Face plugin, which we use for real access control systems connected to Smart Face face recognition, which is controlling all those turnstiles. So this Smart Face using the access control module is connected to our simulated turnstile that we are going to use here today. We also have some CCTV cameras. We have some IP cameras here set up in this home office environment. And we also have some third-party systems. These third-party systems are these yellow ones. We have an access control security dashboard. We have a third-party video management system. And we also have a mobile registration application. All these systems can be third-party, or it can be provided by Innovatrics, or it can be developed by you. If you are a system integrator company and you create your own solution, you can just easily take Innovatrics products, Innovatrics tools or server solutions and integrate them into your solution. All these three solutions that we have here today, we have an access control and security dashboard, we have a video management system, and we have a mobile enrollment application. These are all demo applications, very, very simple demo applications, which we created using official Innovatrics deliverables, products, and interfaces. We created all these simple solutions within a couple of hours, a couple of days. So this is something very simple that any software company or system integrator company can easily do. So this is the solution we are going to use today. I'm going to demonstrate all those modules, but especially I'm going to focus on these four. So these four highlighted modules are the applications which you are going to see in a couple of minutes. So let me give you a very quick walkthrough of these four applications. Let's start with Smart Face. Smart Face is the core engine of this whole ecosystem, of this whole smart building integrated solution that we are going to see. Smart Face is our server-based real-time face recognition solution, as already highlighted. And this is the basic official user interface which goes with the basic Smart Face installation. So in this Smart Face installation today, we have two CCTV cameras. We have a so-called bullet camera here, which is this live stream. And we have another bullet camera, which is capturing this main entrance. Smart Face by default displays all the detected faces. It also displays all the hits. When we find a person, a detected face, we find in a database. Smart Face also supports different watch lists. So you can create a face database or a face gallery, having different groups. Today, I have two groups, which is the group of the employees which work in this smart building, in this office. And we also have a blacklist for those which we don't really like. So far, this blacklist is empty. So basically, we have an employee list, which is a whitelist, obviously, and we have a blacklist of those who we don't want to see in this smart building. So this was the Smart Face user interface, which is running on our Innovatrics server. This is the core engine of our solution. Now I'm going to show you this access control and security dashboard. Of course, Smart Face has its own access control and security dashboard. What we can see now is something different. I created a very simple dashboard for you, just using SmartFace API, SmartFace interfaces, so standard Innovatrics deliverables. We created this in a couple of hours. We can display the live video stream from the cameras using SmartFace. We can display the recent passages, so all the people who enter the building in real time. And we will also use this access control and security dashboard for other purposes during our demo presentation. So this was the access control and security dashboard. We also do have a video management system here, which is connected to SmartFace, of course, and it's also directly connected to our CCTV cameras. We are using Network Optics or NX video management system, which is a third party. It's from our partner, from NX. So this is not an Innovatrics product, but this NX VMS, this third-party video management system, is integrated directly with SmartFace. So once you have a building or a facility which is covered by CCTV cameras, and you have a Network Optics video management system, which is very common in the APAC region, you can just grab Innovatrics SmartFace, plug it in, and you can enhance the video management system with real-time face recognition features. Okay, and the next one is a mobile registration application, which we are going to show in a couple of minutes. Now let me continue with this dashboard here. This is our access control and security dashboard, which is developed by us as, for example, a system integrator, right? We just plug it into SmartFace and we can see everything that is happening in our building. We have two locations here. First is the main entrance on the left-hand side, and this camera is capturing the place which I call the canteen. So these are two locations within our smart building. I have my webcam here as well. So when you will see this picture, this is my webcam. Hello, it's me. This picture is not coming from a CCTV camera. This is my webcam. This is not connected to SmartFace. This is not part of this whole smart building story. We will just use this webcam just to see from an outside perspective what's happening in different locations of the building. Let's imagine that this one is the perspective of a security person, a security guy who is sitting in the main lobby of the smart building, and what he's doing, he's watching the main entrance. This is the main entrance with a turnstile. Of course, I don't have a real turnstile here in my home office, so I'm going to use this virtual turnstile on a TV screen. And this turnstile is also connected to this CCTV camera. The CCTV camera that you can see on my webcam right now is the one which is connected to the access control system, and this is the perspective of the camera. This main entrance access in my security and access control dashboard, this is what the access control camera can see. So now if you take a look at on the left side, the main entrance access, you can see me how I'm showing this camera in my webcam. So this one here is what our security guy can see who is watching the front door. And this one here, the main entrance access, is the perspective of the CCTV camera connected to the access control system. So let's work with this. And let's start making up our first story. Our story today is that this smart building is Innovatrics office, for example, and I'm currently not an employee of Innovatrics. I'm trying to become an employee of Innovatrics, of course, and I just came to my first job interview. So now let's see what happens when I try to access this building. What I'm going to do, I'm going to approach the main entrance of the Innovatrics smart building, and I'm trying to enter. Now on the right hand side, on this big camera picture, you can see what our security guy can see, right? You're sitting in the main lobby and you're watching the main entrance, this main door. On the left hand side, below the title main entrance access, you can see what the CCTV camera connected to this main turnstile can see. But of course, now I'm not registered. I'm not an employee, so nothing happens. The door is not opening. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to register myself. And now I'm going to use my cell phone. I'm going to download the mobile app, which belongs to this whole smart building platform. Now I'm going to switch to my mobile screen. Okay, so this is my mobile screen. Here we created a very, very simple mobile app using Innovatrics DOT, Digital Onboarding Toolkit. This was the topic of our previous webinar. So for those who attended the previous webinar, all these features in this mobile app are going to be familiar. But I'm going to use the same app. And now, of course, this app is integrated with SmartFace. It's plugged in into the smart building platform. So I'm going to run my registration. So let's assume in our story, I already got hired, and now I'm registering myself to the Innovatrics access control and employee management and to this complete platform. So I'm going to use my ID card. This is my Slovak ID card. Of course, any ID card can be used. Driving license can be used. A passport can be used. Anything can be supported. I'm going to take a photo. These are regular photos of my ID card. And in this app, I'm using Innovatrics OCR and MRZ to extract the content of my ID card. The next step is capturing my face. This is a real-time selfie capturing feature. It gives some instructions: move closer, now move back, now center the face. But first, I'm not going to capture my face. I'm going to show you the so-called Innovatrics passive liveness detection. So first, I'm going to try to spoof this. I'm going to try to cheat. This is my photo on my PC screen. I'm going to try to use this photo to cheat. The photo is captured now, but of course the result is liveness check failed. This is the so-called Innovatrics passive liveness detection, which is able to evaluate a photo within a couple of milliseconds, and it's able to tell you whether that photo is real or it's a mask or a printed photo or a photo or even a video file, a replay attack on a screen. It just grabs one single frame and it's able to evaluate whether the photo is containing a live face or not. So now it's going to be the real me. I'm going to take a photo in front of this turnstile. I move closer, stay still. Okay, so now I'm registered. No, I'm still not registered. Now I'm just going to continue this onboarding process. So these are all the details extracted from my ID card, from the human readable fields, from the machine readable zone. Everything is extracted. This is correct. My face, my selfie is matched against this ID photo. So there is also a face verification to verify the identity of this new employee. And now I'm going to submit this. When this is submitted, that means that I'm registered into the Innovatrics smart building platform. Okay, this is now finished. So now when I switch back to the SmartFace user interface, now I'm not the employee, now I'm the security guy, right? When I check the list of the employees, there is a new entry. This is the photo, this is the selfie I just captured, right? It's already registered with my name, with my full name, which is extracted from the ID card using Innovatrics OCR, right? So now I'm a registered employee, and me as the security guard, now I'm looking at this screen. This is my screen. This is the access control and security dashboard. This is what I do, right? I keep checking this screen, so it gives me real-time information about everything that is happening in this building, and I also keep watching the physical door. So now let's see what happens when Mate, this newcomer, this new employee, after the successful registration, tries to enter this building. Again, on the right-hand side, you can see the physical, or in our case, virtual door, and on the left-hand side, you can see the camera which is installed into this access control system. Now, this CCTV camera, which is connected to the door, to this main entrance gate, can already see me. That's me, but I'm too far. And now I'm going to approach this door. So let's see what happens when I approach this door. The door opens automatically. The door opens automatically, and also the security guy can see a recent passage of this guy, of Mate, who just crossed this door, right? So let's do another round. What we use here is the so-called Innovatrics seamless access control. Why is that so big deal, and why we call it seamless? We call it seamless because it's actually seamless. That's the whole story behind it. The added value here is that, as you can see, there is no face recognition device. There is no tablet or a terminal in this access control system installed on the turnstile. There is no card reader. I don't have to stop and look into this face recognition device, fit my face into the screen, into the circle on the screen, so it can open the door. But it's completely seamless, which means I just keep walking. I don't have to interact with any device. I don't have to look for my keys, my access card. I just keep walking, and the CCTV camera recognizes my face, but not only the face, and it's not only a face identification, finding that this person is an Innovatrics employee, but it also has a special so-called intention analysis. So it not only sees that this person is in front of this turnstile, or this person is just walking around in the lobby, or talking to their colleagues, or going for lunch, but we also know that this person is intentionally moving towards the turnstile. So when he gets close enough, the turnstile opens automatically, and this achieves a complete seamless experience. But this is too easy. Let's make it a bit harder. This is the piece of clothing that we are wearing these days all the time. It's a face mask, right? I'm going to put this face mask on, which is a very hot topic. Everybody is trying to recognize faces with face masks. But what happens, again, is that the door opens completely automatically. The security guy can see all these passages. Mate keeps entering the building, now this time with a mask. Now this time I'm going to enter the building with the mask on my face again, right? There's another passage here, as you can see. Now there are two passages in the face mask. Now I'm going to wear another piece, which is more fashionable. I'm going to wear sunglasses. It also makes face recognition challenging, right? So what happens even when I'm wearing these sunglasses is actually nothing special. The door just opens. This is how we create this so-called complete seamless experience, which is unique. You don't need to interact with a face recognition device. You don't have to stop at the gate, blocking others behind yourself, waiting. It's completely smooth. It's completely seamless. Of course, while we keep the security on a very high level, having a very accurate face recognition algorithm. Even if, so this is the portion that we are talking about right now, right? It's smart face. We use this mobile enrollment application to register. We put this new registration into smart face, and it's connected to this camera, right? Which is at the turnstile. And it's also connected to our access control system, which is eventually a direct connection to the turnstile. Even if multiple people are queuing in front of this turnstile, all those people are already, in this scenario, already registered, already recognized. So we have person 1, 2, 3. At this moment, in this scenario, we already know person 1 can enter, person 2 can enter, person 3 cannot enter. And this is the whole secret. This is the whole deal. The seamless access control does not evaluate a person at the moment when the person is already waiting at the turnstile and trying to fit their face into the screen and the circle on the screen of the face recognition device. That's already too late. We are not waiting until somebody stops at the turnstile. We start the evaluation at the first moment when this person is spotted somewhere on the scene. For example, this person 3 is still very far from the turnstile. But at this moment, we already know this person cannot enter. And we already know person 1 and person 2 can enter. So we just keep tracking those people. And once they get, or some of them get close to the turnstile, we just trigger an action based on the decision which is already made, which is already done, right? So at the first moment when we spot the person, even if the person is not close to the turnstile, our homework is already done. We know this guy, if he gets close to the turnstile, we open the door or we don't open the door. That's it. Just talking about security, this is not only very convenient, so not only the user experience level is very high, but of course, we keep the same level of security. So what we are talking about right now is the Innovatrics face recognition proprietary algorithm, which is according to this official NIST report from the National Institute of Standards and Technology from April 2020. Innovatrics is among the most accurate face recognition vendors, which means when we say this person works here or when we say this person does not work here, there is a extremely high chance that we are right. Just in a very simple way how to explain this. Plus, Innovatrics has the fastest face recognition algorithm, which means, of course, there are some other top players in the most accurate group, which is this green area here. There are just a few players here, but among those players, Innovatrics can do this in the fastest way. So on this horizontal axis, what you can see is actually the face recognition time. This is the searching time in a database of 12 million faces, which is obviously not the case of a smart building, but this demonstrates in a very nice way how fast Innovatrics can be. This is also the way how we achieve this seamless experience. So while the person just keeps walking, they don't have to stop. During this short amount of time, we can recognize, identify that face. So again, what we saw here was the so-called Innovatrics seamless access control. Let's do just one more last round. What I do, I just arrive to the office. I'm carrying something. I cannot just pull out my card. I cannot pull out my keys. So I just keep walking. I don't have to do anything, right? I just keep walking. I don't even have to slow down. When I approach the turnstile, the access control system triggers the action, which is already decided since the first moment that this access control camera spotted my face. Of course, the security guy is watching the screen. He can see who is approaching the turnstile, and he can also see who the system opened the door for. So Now we just covered the first few modules of our demo, which was the SmartFace core engine, this mobile enrollment application, and also this access control and security dashboard. We are going to move to the next episode of our story, but before we do that, I would like to encourage all of you to use the questions section in this webinar tool. Feel free to submit any questions. After the show, after this demo, me and my colleagues will be very happy to spend more time with you here and answer all your questions. So again, I really would like to encourage you, submit your questions, anything you have on your mind, and we will answer all the questions after the demo. Good, so now let's continue with the next episode of our story. So our story so far was me as a newcomer, a new employee of Innovatrics who works in this Innovatrics smart building, got hired. I performed a quick self-registration using the mobile registration application. My face, along with my personal information, was registered into the SmartFace core system. So all this information was automatically available for the access control system and also for the access control and security dashboard. Now the story is going to change a bit. I'm gonna get fired, which means that, first of all, our HR or security or whoever it concerns is going to open this back-end interface of SmartFace, and they're going to remove my record from the employees list, right? So again, this is the SmartFace watch list called employees. There's a couple of us here, and now I'm going to remove this guy. He's fired. He doesn't work here anymore. But unfortunately, it's not just that I'm fired, but I also did something really, really bad. And they're not just firing me, they really don't like me. They don't want to see me here in this building anymore. So what they're going to do, they're going to grab, this is a list of all the faces which were detected, right? And we still keep them. Here is a data view. So we also group those faces based on age, gender, based on the person. So we also group them into identities, so we know when a person showed up in different times, different locations. So just to make sure I will never ever enter this building anymore, they're going to just grab one face which was detected, and they're going to add this face from this moment. This was one of my entries, one of my entrings to the building. But this time they're going to put this face on the blacklist with my name. We don't want to see this guy here anymore. So what's going to happen now? Of course, life goes on, nothing happens. Our security guys keep watching this interface as a part of his job. He's monitoring the whole place, the whole smart building. And now I, as the already fired person, I'm going to try to enter this building. So I put my sunglasses on so nobody can recognize me, and I enter this facility somewhere. Oops, this is too bad. I got spotted. Something happened. I was really trying to be invisible, but unfortunately, there is a blacklist in the smart face engine. This smart face engine with the blacklist is connected directly to this security dashboard, to the security system of the building. So our security person who is watching this screen unfortunately receives this alert. There is a blacklist alert showing that this person, Mate, who is on the blacklist with this registration here, was spotted here at the main entrance. Before that, he was also spotted in the canteen. So what happens now? Now I switch my role again. Now I'm not going to be Mate, this blacklisted person, but now I'm going to be the security guy. So the security guy who sees this alert in a real time, right? So I see immediately that something is happening. So I send my colleagues to catch me and kick me out from the building, whatever. But what happens after such an incident in a security system, in a surveillance system? When it comes to such an incident, of course, besides triggering a real-time immediate alert, we also have to analyze this incident somehow. So I have to use some tools for this analysis. I cannot just keep watching a few days long video footage from my security CCTV system, but there are perfect tools for this, right? There are VMSs, there are video management systems, which are built exactly for this kind of analysis. This one, this video management system, which is also connected to the surveillance cameras, and it's also plugged into SmartFace. So now, after this whole incident, once I'm kicked out, me as the security guard, I'm going to take a look at my VMS, my NX video management system, which has some bookmarks here, right? Is integrated with SmartFace, so it cannot just see what's happening in front of the cameras, but thanks to this SmartFace integration, it also detects faces, identifies faces, and once a face is identified, and this face is a blacklisted face, it starts a recording automatically. So after this incident, these security guys can anytime just open this VMS, look for these SmartFace related notifications, bookmarks, right? So in this bookmark, I just search SmartFace blacklist. SmartFace blacklist Mate. So here it is. This is what we recorded. We recorded how this person entered the canteen of this facility and stole this speaker from the facility. So this now covers the security part, not only the access control part. Access control part is for whitelisted people who can enter the building, who we know. The blacklist is for first unknown people. So even when an unknown person is recognized in some location of this facility, which should not be entered by unknown people, by strangers, or it's entered by a blacklisted person, this recording starts automatically. This is triggered by SmartFace externally. So now we just covered the last part of our ecosystem, which was also the last episode of our story, which was the video management and security solution. Good, that's it. We just covered a long story of getting hired, registering, entering the building, automatic access control, seamless access control, getting fired, getting blacklisted, getting spotted by a security camera, getting identified by SmartFace, recorded by SmartFace into the video management system from Network Optics, and getting kicked out from the building by the security personnel. thank you very much. That's my story. Of course, not my real story. I'm still an Innovatrics employee. So yeah, now I would like to again encourage all of you to ask any questions, and I also would like to ask my colleagues to join us and to help me with those questions. So Peter,
Thanks.
Stanley, and Tingu, are you here with us?
Thanks, Olmat. Yeah, we are here. It's very risky to do all these live demos online, being at home with limited resources. So hands down for
it's
that.
It's not risky if it works well, you know.
With glasses and all. I've seen you will be going through the questions, but there's one question repeating quite often, and that is about tailgating. If you have multiple people approaching the gates, can you describe, you know, obviously the answer, but I'd like you to describe the intention analysis that we have built into SmartFace.
Yes, of course. Yeah, let me switch back to, I'm going to switch my screen on again. And to answer this question, the best thing to do is to switch back to this slide. I hope you can see it. So the main message here is basically tailgating. The whole added value of the access control, sorry, the Innovatrics seamless access control is that there is no face recognition device. There is no interactive device on the turnstile, because this interactive device is always for a one-to-one user interaction, right? So I have to approach it, I have to stop, I have to look into it, evaluates my face, does its job, and that's it, right? So the seamless access control has two essential elements. Number one is user experience, so we don't have to interact with the system. And number two is security. Yeah, surprisingly, this user experience, which is increased, does not have a trade-off with the security, because thanks to the same fact that we are monitoring multiple people in front of the turnstile, we also can evaluate the movement and the identity of multiple people in front of the turnstile. So here in this slide, we have person 1, 2, 3. All of them are approaching the turnstile, while person 1 and 2, they're very close to each other. So it might look like a tailgating attempt. But thanks to the fact that this is using a CCTV camera and not a face recognition device with a built-in camera, thanks to this fact, we can already see all these 3 people. We know that person 1 to 3 with the known identities, they're entering, or they're intended maybe to enter this facility, and we keep monitoring all of them. This intention analysis means that we see those people and we keep tracking their movement in the real time. So we know their position. We also know their relative positions. So if there's somebody standing next to me or just behind me, very close to me, we know the relative positions. We know that one of them can enter, second cannot enter, or maybe one of them is an unknown person and just following a known person. We know all these things. So this is basically an additional feature of SmartFace. It's not only SmartFace, it's also an access control module here. So this access control module is evaluating all these events. So when they try to tailgate, what happens is that we can configure different access strategies. And those access strategies can be more promiscuous, can be more strict. It's really based on your own use case. So how you would like to set up your whole smart building environment. And if you set up this access strategy in a strict way, that means that, for example, person 1 and 2, if they approach the turnstile in this relative position, very close to each other, we don't open the door. Even if there is a person who is allowed to enter, we know that there is another one. So we don't open the door. We reject the whole thing. We only open the door when there is only one person. There is a reasonable distance between the first and the second person, and the first person is allowed to enter. I hope this answers the question. please, I'm asking my colleagues, if there is anything you would like to add, just feel free.
I'd just like to recap. So if we have multiple people present in front of a camera or cameras or gate, we obviously know of all of them. We know who is on the enabled access list and who is not, and we know who is in front and who is in the back. So Mate, as you said, we can configure the behavior and strategy. And so if we have a person allowed to enter, but there is another person in front of him who is not allowed to enter, we can just reject the access, right?
Correct. It can always differentiate between different people standing in front of a camera.
The point here is that the system is fully configurable. We do know about the order of people. We do know who is on the allowed to access list and who is not, or employee list. And so it's a matter of configuration. How do we behave when there's multiple people present?
Yep, exactly. Thank you very much. We have a very short question here for the passive liveness detection. Was it done on the mobile or at the server end? This one was running on my laptop here, which is basically the server. Of course, all those components for DOT, for Digital Onboarding Toolkit, can be run on both, can be run on the server and can be deployed on the device as well. It always depends on the preference. So on device, it always faster. On server is always more secure. Let me ask as an initial question or an initial discussion. I would like to ask Peter to give us and to our attendees some insights into our face recognition roadmap and plans, because obviously Innovatrics is a biometric technology vendor, right? So we have many different business verticals, but today we are mostly talking about face recognition. So Peter, what is our current roadmap? What is Innovatrics' value proposition when it comes to face recognition in general, and how do we position ourselves on the market?
So first, there are three priorities, I would say, or three major areas of focus. First is the accuracy. So we want to have a facial matching and identification as accurate as possible, obviously. And if you check the NIST FRVT report, which is the only one and the only official benchmark for comparing multiple facial biometric technologies, you are in the top 5 leaderboard. So that is kind of achieved. The second priority is performance. So we want to be able to process frames and people's faces in real time, not on the mobile device as well as on the server, to be able to, I mean, if one of the features is seamless access, you have to, if it's supposed to be seamless, you really have to be able to react fast. If people are walking fast towards the gate or running even, we need to be able to analyze 25 frames per second in order to be able to react immediately. And that's achieved as well. And the third priority is aliveness detection, which is becoming increasingly important right now for unattended environments. You need to make sure that people looking into the camera are actually the real people. So we have, as Mate has been presenting, we have passive liveness, which is revolutionary really, because that's software-based passive liveness. All you need to do is look in the camera and the system knows whether you're real or it's a spoof attempt, a playback, a paper, a printout, or a screen capture. And that actually works pretty similar to what Apple has hardware-based on their iPhone 11 devices. So those are the three priorities. We really are trying to address different verticals in terms of access control. That's the one you just saw right now. Digital onboarding, which is primarily banking, telcos, a shared economy such as Uber or Careem or Grab. And so that's onboarding piece. Again, using the facial biometrics to remotely onboard customers and new clients. And of course, we are reacting to COVID-19. There's multiple questions here about how do we deal with the COVID-19 requirements. So what we are finalizing right now is the facial analysis and occlusion detection. Not only we can detect masks, whether or not people are wearing them, we can also detect whether the masks are covering the nose up here or they are just, pretentiously put on face. We can cover whether or not both eyes are visible, the forehead, the cheeks. So we have a 4 quadrants or 4 sections on the face that our algorithm is able to detect and analyze, and we can say which part of the face is occluded. That would go well with the mask detection, but also it's good for maybe detecting whether the women are wearing burqas, etc.
Thank you, Peter, and good point regarding the current COVID-19 situation. I would like to respond to this part of your explanation and ask my colleagues, maybe Tingy, who is our expert for CCTV and surveillance field. So this is his background. Can answer this question. How this whole COVID-19 situation is affecting, in general, the security, access control, and CCTV industry? What is the general impact?
I would say it's a huge challenge for most of people, especially for the security guard and also the some kind of operators at the reception, because their loading is getting heavy for the access control, no matter for, let's say, a smart building at the entrance. But also it's difficult for the security because it's getting more and more if people are wearing masks or even with sunglasses, and the difficulty recognized by the security guard anymore. So this is how smart face with this function and feature can help people like this. And on the other hand, people are getting more awareness of this kind of security, including the temperature detection or etc. So I believe I would say face identification can be integrated with several third-party systems to help people like this in this period of time.
Thank you. Thank you. Question from our customer from Australia. Will SmartFace still work with a mobile phone held up to the person's face? Also, what is the range tolerance for a person's facial angles, twist, rotate, yaw, etc.? Does anybody want to take this one? Okay, I can take it. Okay, so as you could see in the demo, in the real-time demo, we tried this with many different in many different situations when the face was partially covered. I was wearing a face mask, I was wearing sunglasses, it still worked. Of course, it's very, very challenging or almost impossible to come up with some figures, some numbers. I can show you some differences in a couple of seconds, but what I would like to say is that face recognition works based on AI, artificial intelligence, right? Neural networks, which works in a very similar way to the human brain. So every time we or any of us looks at a face of a person, if there is a sufficient part of that face visible and we as human can recognize that person, it's more than likely that the artificial intelligence will be able to do the same job. Of course, if I see somebody with completely covered face with a huge helmet without any part of the face visible, even for me, for a human, it's impossible to recognize that person. So as long as a sufficient part of the face is visible and another part is covered, of course, smart face or even DOT will be able to recognize that person. The same thing applies when there is a cell phone being held in front of the face. So from this perspective, if you look at my webcam now, there's a part of my face which is covered, but there's another part of my face which is visible. So for you, for a human, it's easily recognizable. It's visible that this person is Mate. This is somebody I know. Same thing happens for recognition using artificial intelligence. So face covered by cell phone is exactly the same as face covered by face mask. Another question, if I want the turnstile to open only after the detected person is directly in front of the turnstile, can it be done or controlled? Yes, of course, this can be controlled, and this is also configured here in my environment. We can always control in SmartFace the effective distance from the camera. So there are two things we can configure: where within what distance we should recognize or detect that person, and after that we can also trigger an action, a specific action, only when the person is within a specific distance. So of course, this can be controlled, and this is configurable. Let me ask my colleagues this very basic question. What is the benefit of having a video management system integration? So now I switch the topic to security. When it comes to security, usually the VMS is the basic system. So this is what everybody thinks about when it comes to CCTV security cameras. There must be a VMS, right? So what are these benefits? What are the advantages of having a VMS integration with a face recognition system? And how does this work? What is the effort which is required for connecting these two systems?
Tingy, do you want to take this one? Yeah.
Yes. So firstly, I would say from the SI perspective, the seamless access control is not only for seamless access control, but also for seamless integrations. Because nowadays is a headache for SIs to integrate multiple systems, especially like they have a CCTV, like surveillance and access control system. If they are using a turnstile or tablet in front of a, let's say, integrate with a turnstile, sorry, and they need another system like a visitor management system. And how they can integrate is through the SI effort. And now Innovatrics help SI is doing offer the complete solutions. So I would say it's also a seamless integrations. On the other hand, just like I mentioned before, during this period of time for the COVID-19, and there is a huge effort for the security guard or receptions because they need to help people to measurement their temperatures and doing the identity and security as well. So if everything is on the record and we can find the relevant video clips from the video management system, it will be a good improve the security level, but also release the effort or loadings for the security guard or receptions.
Thank you. Just to add to this, integration of VMS is really useful for ex-post analysis. So if you are about to search through hours or days or months even recordings on the VMS platform, and you're looking for a particular face or person, then SmartFace is the engine doing the actual search and facial comparison, and VMS is the system keeping the record or history of video files or behavior. And we can also perform a non-specific analysis. There's a question in the list here about the gender and age. So yes, SmartFace can detect and does store gender and age of every single person walking by. Mate, if you can maybe show a screen confirming this or showing this, that would be useful. And so you might be looking for a person that's been around for about 2 days hanging out. It's a male, 35 years old. We don't know his name, but we know the general description. So the system would find all the people, all the male persons matching this criteria. So it's really integration between SmartFace and VMS is primarily useful for offline after the event has happened analysis. Also, one very important thing that SmartFace does perform is so-called facial grouping. So you might not know who you're looking for. You just want to see who has been around for a longer time than necessary. So the system would go through all the faces spotted and detected by the system, and it would group all the similar faces under one identity. So you would immediately be able to detect the person that's been hanging around in the bank or lobby of the hotel for 4 hours, which is not normal. And
correct. Thank you very much. So I'm going to show a few screens which can support your answers, Peter and Tingu. So this is the smart face screen from the face grouping. So now I have a very short grouping window, just a couple of minutes. So within a couple of minutes, I group all the faces from the same person, even if that person is not registered in any watch list. There is a continuous, actually it's a many-to-many face matching identification. So we group all faces together which belong to the same person. This post analysis that Peter mentioned, yes, of course, this is the main feature of each VMS solution. So this is how we can review all the recorded incidents or events. I can still see here how I was entering the door. This is the event when I was entering the building. Here I was explaining the seamless access control. I was entering the building. I was entering crossing the turnstile, and now here is a bookmark when I was blacklisted, and I was going to steal this speaker. And this post analysis or analysis after the incident can be also supported by all these smart face features, especially this grouping. So for example, here is the group of all the face detections from that period of time when this incident happened. So this VMS integration, which is which goes with the basic product, can be extended. We can feed any events to the VMS. You can use those events to create different bookmarks. It can be also linked to this face grouping feature of smart face and so on. We have another question regarding the hardware requirements and cloud-based integration. What about if I have multiple branches in different locations? So how does this work in terms of hardware requirements and also the deployment model when we have such a distributed environment? So what I think is that yeah, of course, cloud is supported, so it can be deployed in a cloud, even with remote connection to the camera. So the way how SmartFace works is that it only uses the stream, the real-time stream from the IP camera. Any IP camera can be used which supports the standard RTSP stream, and this RTSP stream can have a source locally, or it can have a remote source as well. So it can be deployed on-premise, it can be deployed in a cloud as well. In a cloud, obviously, the network bandwidth can be a bottleneck. This is something that we cannot affect. So you always have to consider the resolution of the camera, how heavy the real-time stream is, and your internet connection bandwidth. So of course you have to make sure that that stream can be transferred in real time into your SmartFace cloud. But from the deployment perspective, of course, local or cloud-based solutions are both supported. We have another topic.
Sorry to interrupt. We still have 42 people online waiting to answer some of the questions, and there's actually a bunch of very good questions. So let's just briefly go through them, because I know you can talk about every particular feature for hours. There's some really good questions. Eric is asking, if someone is running or walking fast, can the face still be accurately detected? That's what I said about the speed. We are trying to do at 25 frames per second full analysis. So every single frame within a second is fully analyzed, and all the faces are detected and compared to the watch list. So even if you're really running fast, within the 25 FPS rate, we will be able to detect and identify you. A really good question was coming from Sifa Jahan Noor. you have any solution concerning the COVID-19 scenario? This is what I said already. We are adding facial mask detection and also actually any face occlusion. So not only masks, we can check whether masks are being worn properly. We can check whether the eyes, ears, nose, and forehead is visible. Another question for Henry Sim. What happens when an unregistered person goes inside with a registered person? This has to do with tailgating. Again, we know of all the faces present in front of the camera. We know about their order. We know who is on the watch list, who is not. So the configurable workflows allows you to decide yourself how do you want to treat the scenarios. Are those cameras license-based? Rahil Ahmed. So as Mate already said, we can actually work with any RTSP IP camera, codec H.264, 265, motion JPEG. And yes, the licensing is based on the number of active cameras connected to the platform. Jason Lee. Does the SmartFace module also include demographic data, such as gender and estimated ages? Yes, we answered that already. You can see on the screenshot here that we are detecting in real time age and gender of every person, whether we know him or not. Yes, Rizwan Uhaq from Pakistan. He's asking about the accuracy impact when you're wearing masks or glasses. Mate already addressed that, right? It will drop. I mean, the accuracy will be affected. So depending on your watch list size, whether you have 100 people, 1,000 or 100,000 people on the watch list, this will have a certain impact on the accuracy of identification. However, we are just releasing a new feature, which is called Auto Learn, which will essentially collect multiple sample or images of your face if it's too different from the one you have been using for the enrollment. So let's use an example. You are growing a beard, right? And then day by day, your face tends to look differently. A month later, you look completely different. And we'll basically adapt to that change of look, so the accuracy will not be impacted. And the same goes for the masks and glasses. If you're wearing them frequently, the system will adapt and to learn and understand that you look differently in a way wearing a mask. Eric is asking, how well does it work nighttime video capture with IR, infrared camera, or night vision? Mate, let's take this one for you.
I would love to show this, but it's 3 p.m. So I cannot really make a dark place out of this here. But yeah, it works. I would say without any differences. So of course there can be, depending on the camera, there can be some slight difference in the accuracy. It can be affected, but basically the whole face recognition is trained. This neural network is developed using black and white photos, black and white images. And if you have an infrared camera with infrared light, it's also interpreted in the live stream as a black and white picture. So it works perfectly. Actually, infrared cameras are commonly used also with our SmartFace for access control. It's very beneficial even for controlled environment, even during the day with daylight. So if you, for example, want to set up an access control camera in a lobby where there is no sufficient light, or the lighting conditions are not the best, so for example there's strong backlight, you can easily fix it with infrared light, with infrared camera, which is invisible, but for the face recognition it will actually help a lot. So the answer is yes, of course, it works perfectly with night vision cameras.
So day or night, we do tend to identify faces with the same accuracy. A great question from Wilfred Tan. Aside from turnstiles, can system integrators use the API to integrate to other devices? Can you please describe, Mate, the openness of the system, because we didn't talk about it, the API, the zero NQ messaging, the notification queue, all the connectors that we support.
Of course. Let me jump back to this diagram. So as I explained at the beginning, these three boxes: access control dashboard, video management system, mobile or PC registration application, these are third-party software. So so video management is obviously the third party, and those two dashboards and the applications, those can be parts of the solution of our system integrator, for example. So I can make up any other system, and I can just plug it into SmartFace. It has a robust API. It has REST API, first of all. It has REST API for configuration, for adding photos, reading photos from the system, reading the complete frames. So this is using REST API. Let me just show you these two screens. This is the SmartFace official user interface, displaying in real time all these hits, all these detections. This is our access control and security dashboard. Both of these screens are not built in SmartFace. These are just using the SmartFace REST API to display all this information. So the limit is really the sky here. You can have any solution, any system, any requirement. If it's related to face recognition, you can just use the SmartFace REST API. You can get all this information in real time, and you can display it in your system. It can be a web application, it can be a mobile application, desktop application, or even an embedded device. You can just rely on this API. So this REST API is number one. Number two is 0MQ. So of course, for some events, some action must be triggered on SmartFace side. So for example, in this scenario, in the last scenario, which was the blacklist search, which I can show if I look into this camera here. For example, this blacklist search, but also the seamless access control, door opening. Of course, those are events which are triggered on the server side. So some sort of push notifications are required. For this, SmartFace has a built-in 0MQ middleware. So it takes just a couple of minutes to implement a very simple application which subscribes to this 0MQ topic and keeps fetching all those events. For example, including this notification, this blacklist alert here. So this dashboard has also a 0MQ subscriber and keeps fetching all those events. And there is a third interface as well, a third endpoint, which is for access control. So this piece of the integration, which is called access control module, as you can see, this access control backend is connected not to SmartFace directly, but to this access control module. So this access control module, of course, is running the so-called intention analysis. It's analyzing whether somebody is moving to the turnstile or not, tailgating or not, and identifying people, and pushing those events not to another software system, but to hardware, right? So this one is connected to the access control system directly, but it can be connected to another middleware as well. But anyway, this one is using a separate endpoint, which is gRPC protocol, which is using binary so-called proto buffers to push all those access control related events to a third-party software that you can also implement again within a couple of minutes. It's just a few lines of code. It's super simple, and you can put it into your own solution, or we can push it directly to the access control hardware. We have a solution for that.
Matt, a bunch of questions related to quality of the camera and frame rate and such. Rahul is asking, what is the minimum resolution and frame rate for CCTVs? Can it work with multiple CCTV cameras looking at the same gate from different angles? Wilfred is asking similar question. For outdoor low light environments, how effective is the SmartFace system to be able to pick up the faces? Will it be depending on the video management or camera? Can SmartFace work with the older generation cameras? Can you please describe the minimal eye distance and things that we need to address?
Yes, of course. There is no such thing like minimum resolution. We can work with any camera basically. The only requirement of SmartFace is the eye distance. So the minimum eye distance in the captured image should be at least 20 pixels, right? So 20 pixels between the eyes, it already means that it's a very, very small image. Of course, it can work with even lower, but this is what we officially state as a minimum requirement, which means if you have a low resolution IP camera, for example, 1 megapixel camera, that only means that it can still work. It will be still supported by SmartFace, but the efficient distance from the camera will be lower. So with a 1 megapixel camera, if you go 10, 20, 30 meters away from the camera, the face is going to get smaller and the eye distance is also getting smaller. So when it decreases, it's dropped below 20 pixels, it starts to be questionable whether or not it can be recognized. But as long as there is minimum 20 pixels between the eyes, it will be recognized. Of course, if you have a higher resolution camera, that means that the effective distance from the camera will be higher. Multiple cameras with multiple resolutions, of course, can be supported. I have 2 cameras here. Both cameras are configurable from 1 to 5 megapixel. I'm using them in a mixed way. So 1 megapixel here, 4 megapixel on the other camera. I can use. I'm also using my webcam to SmartFace. So it really doesn't matter. There's only one requirement: 20 pixels between the eyes. And regarding bad lighting conditions, different angles, poor quality environment. SmartFace and in general, our face recognition has a special feature that we call neural detector. Is a special neural network which is trained for face detection, so not for the whole image processing or face recognition pipeline, including matching, identification, and so on. It's a special neural network which is trained only for the first step, which is detecting the face, spotting a face in a picture, in a frame. And this is a special AI, a special piece of artificial intelligence which is trained to detect faces from different angles in a very poor environment. For example, here, if I show you this interface or this SmartFace interface here, even if my face is detected from the side, this is a very bad angle, right? So this is, for example, the result of this neural detector. It's just a piece of the face which is visible. There are no both eyes visible, but even though this neural detector can detect it easily, right? So yeah, this is about also same thing when it comes to poor lighting conditions. Again, I have very good quality daylight here, but yeah, this is a good example. I was sketched like this. So just a part of the face is visible. Actually, the face is not visible. This is just a part of my head. But this is how it works in other poor, bad quality environments as well. It means faces or people captured from an angle and also poor lighting conditions.
More questions regarding COVID-19, social distancing and measuring the distances between people. That's a good question, and actually we are releasing SmartFace version 4 in June, which will be having one breakthrough feature, and that's human body detection. Right now it only detects faces, so unless we see the face, we cannot do much. With the newest version 4, we'll be able to detect bodies even without the face being visible. And with that, after proper calibration, we will be, and it's a part of the feature set, able to measure whether people are far away from each other as they should be. So yes, the social distancing measurement is coming. Also questions about thermal cameras. Are you going to support them? We looked into this about 2 months ago and realized that all the decent thermal cameras are sold out. There's a 12-month wait time for these. So even if you integrated, we couldn't really deliver the cameras, but the open API, as Mate has described, allows you for integrating a second thermal camera next to the regular one, and basically logging every single person passing through with their temperature into the system. Because by default, SmartFace is keeping a track of every face it has detected. And so from external resource or source API camera, you will just store the temperature of this person next to their gender, age, time of appearance, etc.
question about other biometric modalities. Can we consider retina scan or thumbprint to make the database more secure? I would like to address this question. Here in this demo, we haven't talked about this, but of course, Innovatrics has other biometric solutions as well for other biometric modalities. One of our biggest, actually our flagship product, is called Innovatrics ABIS, which is a large-scale biometric matching engine for fingerprints, faces, and irises. This solution is used for large government deployments. Our biggest deployment has almost 200 million records with faces, fingerprints, and irises. And this is a multimodal system, which means you can use any modality for any record. You can be complete 3 modal records with 10 fingerprints, face, and iris, but you can have only records with face, or with face and a couple of fingerprints, or only fingerprints and iris. Any combination can be used. And of course, all the solutions that you could see today, Smart Face and DOT, those are also Innovatrics solutions using the same core algorithm. So those can be also integrated easily, can be plugged in to Innovatrics ABIS. For example, even for Smart Face does not have to use this internal Smart Face watch list. This is what I used here. So this is the built-in watch list into Smart Face. You can use this watch list in Smart Face for hundreds of thousands, even million faces. But when your database becomes much bigger, for example, tens of millions or hundreds of millions of faces, it's recommended to use an external ABIS, because this ABIS is a scalable cluster-based solution for large-scale biometric identification. And of course, this ABIS solution can be combined with other modalities as well. So of course, this is always possible, and we can support this this kind of requirement. I have a topic because we had a question about different IP cameras. How about legacy hardware? So existing IP cameras, existing system, and upgrading to face recognition using Smart Face. And what are the common requirements when we are facing an existing environment? Maybe this is a question to our CCTV expert, Tingy.
Okay, so as I mentioned, actually it's one of the beauty that Innovatrics Smart Face can offer. It's like we can support different view angles, or even like the existing installation is ceiling high, or even from the upper side to see the pictures, just like the cameras you put on the table as a turnstile use case. And actually, it's a challenging view angle for most of the case, because people are used to put let's say a tablet nearby the turnstile is a face level, and actually for as a face recognition is not a challenge. On the other hand, we have this certified by NIST in the wild category, and it means that we can support really challenging quality of image, and this can save the installation, or let's say save the investment for the SI or end users. On the other hand, since you mentioned for the accuracy and the speed of the NIST report, and which means under the same level of the speed, actually we can save the investment on the server as well to reach a certain speed compared with other vendors. So this is, I would say, it's a beauty for Smart Face.
How about old generation cameras?
Mate, if I may, just a short interruption.
Sure.
I need to run another call. I apologize very much. Thank you everybody who joined. The fact that we still have 40 people staying 30 minutes past the official deadline of this event is amazing. Thanks again for joining. We will be in touch with you, and have a great day. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Okay, basically, I think we answered all the questions, or almost all the questions. Tingu, Stanley, would you like to address any other topics, any other questions?
No, I don't have any questions, but would like to first of all thank the attendees for taking your time to join us in this webinar. Innovatrics believes in openness. Okay, we will support you, and we do not mandate any kind of hardware. We do not mandate any kind of platforms. Okay, so feel free to approach us with whatever hardware you may have on hand or existing, and we believe in working with you with SmartFace and DOT SDK to support both mobile and server environments.
I would like to also one more time say a big thank you to all of you for finding time for us. We really appreciate your interest. We hope you like this session. We hope all your questions have been answered. And let's keep in touch. Please feel free to approach any of us if you have any other questions. And we hope to see you again on our next session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Selamat. Thank you.
Bye.